Hello, I'm Almi Reis and welcome to Reis das Artes, Unimaginable Conversations. I'm a Brazilian artist living in Lisbon, Portugal, and for more than 2 decades, I've dedicated my life to the visual arts. My journey began with photography and has since expanded into painting and contemporary art, always exploring new ways to tell stories through images. As a visual artist and the host of this program, I invite you to experience something truly unique, impossible conversations with some of the greatest artists in history. So, sit back, enjoy the journey, and let's begin. Today's guest forever changed the way we think about imagination, dreams, and reality. He transformed the unconscious into breathtaking images, blurred the line between genius and performance, and became one of the most recognizable figures in the history of art. His paintings continue to challenge, provoke, and fascinate audiences around the world. Please welcome Salvador Dali.
Thank you, Almir. It is a pleasure to be here. I must confess, I never imagined I would return for an interview in the 21st century, and certainly not in such an elegant studio. Reality has always been too ordinary for my taste, so I much prefer conversations like this one. Let us step into the world of dreams, where the impossible is simply another form of truth.
Salvador, first of all, it's a true honor to have you here. Few artists in history have inspired as much admiration, curiosity, and controversy as you have. That makes this conversation even more exciting. So, before we begin, I have just one question. May I ask you absolutely anything? No taboos, no forbidden subjects.
My dear Almir, if there is one thing I have never feared, it is a question. Ask me anything you wish about my art, my dreams, my fears, my eccentricities, even my mistakes. Genius should never hide behind silence. Just remember, with Dali, the answer may be more surreal than the question itself.
All right then, no taboos. I'd like to begin with a question I ask every guest who joins us. It's a simple one, but I think it helps our audience get to know the person behind the legend. Where and when were you born?
I was born on May 11th, 1904, in the town of Figueres in Catalonia, Spain. It's a place that shaped who I became and one I carried with me throughout my life.
I'd like to stay with your childhood for a moment. I've read that before you were born, your parents had another son who died very young, and that they believed you were, in some way, his reincarnation. As a child, did that affect the way you saw yourself and the world?
Yes, I believe it did. When you're a child and you're told that someone came before you, someone you're expected to replace, it leaves a mark. I often felt that I had to discover who I really was, rather than who others expected me to be. Looking back, perhaps that search became part of my art.
Can I ask you something a little more personal? How old were you when you finally felt you were no longer living in your brother's shadow and had truly become Salvador Dali?
I don't think there was a single age.
It happened little by little. As I painted, I realized I wasn't here to replace anyone. I was here to become myself. By my late teens, I finally felt that people were beginning to see me, not as someone else's shadow, but as Salvador Dali.
Before we move on to the next chapter of your life, I'd like to ask you about something much more personal. You lost your mother when you were only 16 years old. What were the consequences of that loss? How did it affect the man, and later, the artist you became?
It was the greatest tragedy of my life. My mother was the person who encouraged my love for art from the very beginning. When she died, I felt as though a part of me had disappeared with her.
I never truly got over that loss. I simply learned to live with it.
You once said that every morning when you woke up, you experienced the greatest pleasure of all, being Salvador Dali. Was that confidence genuine, or was it also part of the character you created?
It was both. I truly believed in my own genius, but I also understood that the world remembers those who know how to transform themselves into a living work of art. I didn't just paint surrealism, I lived it.
Your relationship with Gayla has always fascinated people. Was she the love of your life, your greatest muse, or something even more complex?
Gala was everything. Almir, she was my wife, my muse, my manager, my protector, and sometimes even my reality. Without Gala, there would still be a Dali, but not the Dali the world came to know.
Dali, many people admire your paintings, but they also remember your extravagant mustache, your public performances, and your eccentric behavior. Did you ever worry that the character might overshadow the artist?
Never. Curiosity opens the door, but great art keeps people inside. If my mustache attracted them, my paintings were responsible for making them stay.
Dreams play a central role in your work, Dali. Do you believe dreams reveal hidden truths about who we are, or are they simply the imagination running free?
Dreams are more honest than our waking lives. During the day, society forces us to wear masks. In dreams, those masks disappear, and the unconscious speaks its own magnificent language. Almir. My paintings are simply translations of that language.
Many people believe your paintings came purely from imagination. But how much of your work was planned, and how much came from intuition or the subconscious?
The subconscious was my greatest collaborator, but it was never enough on its own. Dreams provide the raw material. Discipline transforms them into art. Inspiration without mastery is only fantasy.
Dali, before we started, I asked if there were any subjects that would be off limits, and you told me there weren't. So, with that in mind, I'd like to ask you something a little more challenging. You once admitted to being fascinated by Hitler and even made him the subject of your art. Was that fascination political, psychological, or purely artistic?
Politics is the occupation of ordinary men. I was interested in dreams, obsessions, and monsters. Hitler fascinated me as a psychological phenomenon, as a terrifying symbol born from the unconscious. My fascination was never with his ideology, but with the disturbing power his image held over millions of people.
I understand the distinction you're making, but millions of people weren't simply fascinated by Hitler. They were murdered because of his regime. Looking back today, do you regret having treated him as an artistic subject at all?
Regret is useful for politicians, not for artists, but age teaches perspective. If my work caused anyone to believe I admired tyranny, then they misunderstood my intention. My purpose was never to glorify evil, but to reveal how seductive and terrifying it can become when humanity surrenders to it.
For many years, people accused you of sympathizing with fascism. Some even believed you openly supported authoritarian regimes. Were they misreading you, or is there some truth behind those accusations?
People have always preferred simple labels to complex minds. Some called me a fascist, others a madman, others a genius. None of those words ever interested me very much. I admired discipline in art, spectacle in power, and contradiction in human nature. But admiration for certain aspects of power should never be confused with an endorsement of oppression.
To close this chapter, from wherever you are now, looking at humanity from a different perspective, how do you see today's world? We still seem divided by wars, political ideologies, religion, and power. Dali, have we evolved, or are we simply repeating the same mistakes in different costumes?
Human beings change their clothes much faster than they change their nature. Almir every century invents new slogans, new flags, and new enemies. Yet fear, vanity, and ambition remain the same. Art survives because it reminds us that imagination builds civilizations while ideology too often destroys them. That is why I always place creation above politics.
Well, let's leave politics behind and get back to what really matters, art. And before you answer, there's just one rule. Dali, you're not allowed to say it's you. So in your opinion, who is the greatest artist of all time?
You remove the obvious answer. And suddenly the question becomes difficult. Very well. I would say Michelangelo. He was sculptor, painter, architect, and poet. Few human beings have ever united so much genius in one lifetime. I challenge reality. Michelangelo shaped civilization.
Many people consider André Breton the father of surrealism. Others believe you became its greatest symbol. In your opinion, who truly deserves the title of the father of surrealism?
Breton gave surrealism its manifesto. For that, he deserves history's gratitude. But a manifesto is only paper until an artist gives it flesh, blood, and dreams. Breton founded surrealism. I made the world see it. History can decide which achievement mattered more.
But Dali, it's been almost a century since surrealism was born. Don't you think history has already delivered its verdict? Isn't it fair to say today that you became the face of surrealism?
History never ends. It is rewritten by every generation. But if you insist on forcing me to answer, yes. When most people hear the word surrealism, they no longer imagine a manifesto, they imagine melting clocks. I can live quite comfortably with that.
Well, our conversation has been fascinating, and I have a feeling we could keep talking for hours. Unfortunately, our time has come to an end. Before we say goodbye, I'd like to ask you one final question. What message would you like to leave for artists and for everyone watching us today?
Never be afraid of being ridiculous. The greatest prison is the desire to be accepted by everyone. Technique can be learned, talent can be refined, but imagination only belongs to those brave enough to protect it. Do not imitate your heroes for too long. Admire them, learn from them, and then have the courage to betray them by becoming unmistakably yourself. That is the only path to immortality. Thanks, Almir. Thank you so much to invite me on this program, and congratulations. See you next time. Bye, everyone.
Salvador, thank you very much for joining us. It has been an honor and a privilege to speak with one of the most influential, provocative, and fascinating artists in history. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation as much as we have. And to all of you watching, thank you so much for being with us. If you enjoyed this episode, please like the video, share it with fellow art lovers, and let us know in the comments. Which of Dali's answers surprised you the most? Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because next Wednesday we'll be back with another impossible conversation that, for a few minutes, becomes possible. I'm Almir Rice. This is Reis das Artes, Unimaginable Conversations, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Take care.